Foxborough's got that big decision smell in the air. At the Combine, we got a loud message about the offensive line. A young left tackle who's been under a microscope, and a second-year interior lineman who might not even stay where he started. At the same time, a true elite name in trade chatter suddenly feels less impossible out of Philadelphia. And then there was a flat-out denial about a Green Bay tackle, except the subtext tells you a lot. Oh, and the Diggs situation? That one can touch the cap and the locker room chemistry. So let me ask you straight up, do you trust the plan, or do you want the Patriots to go aggressive? Now hit that like button and subscribe, because by the end, I'm going to connect all of this in a way that's going to make you look at the entire offseason differently. Here's the urgent part, because what Elliott Wolf said isn't just protect the rookie talk. It's a message to the locker room. It's a message to the fan base, and it's definitely a message to the rest of the league. The Patriots aren't going to panic because of one brutal Super Bowl, but they're also not going to pretend it didn't expose something real. Will Campbell has become the center of the storm. 14 pressures allowed in a playoff game? That's not a bad day, that's alarms going off. And when the number gets even uglier, 29 pressures allowed across the postseason, the most ever tracked in a single postseason by next-gen stats, this stops being emotional and becomes math. How many plays did Drake Maye lose because the pocket collapsed early? How many third and longs died before they even had a chance? And be honest, how many defenses came into the biggest game of the year knowing exactly where to hunt? Now, here's the key context Wolf put out there: the knee. He basically said when Campbell came back from the MCL injury, he didn't see the same lower body strength. In fan terms, he wasn't anchoring the same. He wasn't as stable, and that's where long, twitchy rushers start taking your lunch money. But this is where Patriots Nation splits in half, every single time. Do you believe a healthy offseason plus a real technical reset with Doug Marrone and Josh McDaniels gets Campbell back to being our left tackle for years? Or do you look at the Super Bowl and say, no, move him inside to guard? And that's where Jared Wilson becomes the quiet domino. Wolf sounded way more open-ended with Wilson. Guard by necessity, center by background and by brain. If they're even discussing moving him, it tells you the interior is still a work in progress, not a finished product. And there's another piece people don't like to say out loud. If the Patriots decide to move on from Garrett Bradbury and free up that cap space, you create a hole in the middle that changes the entire plan. Suddenly, Wilson at center becomes more than an option. It starts looking like a path. And then the real question hits. Do you want to shuffle two young guys at once in front of your franchise QB? Here's the part I'm not backing off of. Development can't become an excuse for comfort. The Patriots just lost on the biggest stage, so the answer is competition, without embarrassing anyone. Campbell might be the future, but the future doesn't win Sundays if today the protection leaks. If the plan is Campbell at tackle, then the offseason needs two clear things: technical growth against speed and length, and a protection plan in the scheme when the game tightens up. Because when Seattle smelled blood, it turned into a pass rush clinic. And I already know what this comment section is going to look like. Half of you will say, he's 22, relax. The other half will say, you can't gamble with May. I'm in the middle, and I'm being implacable about it. I'll support the kid, but I don't want him comfortable. If you're trying to get back to the mountaintop, nobody gets a guaranteed seat. And there's more. Because the second you hear open to everything with Wilson, and we believe in Campbell, it sets up the next conversation that starts in Indianapolis and can explode when free agency opens. Now hold up, because there's a detail people aren't connecting. While everyone's arguing draft, cap, and the trenches, a door in Philadelphia that felt locked just cracked open. And when a head coach says he can't guarantee how anything plays out next season, that's not random. That's a signal. That's smoke before a fire. And when the name is A.J. Brown, we're not talking about another receiver. We're talking about the kind of player who changes how an entire defense lines up before the snap. Think about it. Right now, the Patriots have talent. They've got a quarterback with guts and an arm, but they don't have that one wideout who walks on the field and makes a defensive coordinator sweat all week. Diggs gave you production and veteran savvy and that third down trust factor, but A.J. Brown is a different physical problem. He breaks tackles, He wins through contact. He turns a simple throw into chunk plays that flip field position fast. And here's the part that matters, the Vrabel connection. Brown became a star under Vrabel in Tennessee. That history creates comfort. It creates belief. And behind the scenes in this league, that stuff matters more than fans want to admit. But let's be real. This isn't easy. It never is. A move like that costs real assets. You're talking picks, maybe that late first rounder, maybe more depending on how the conversation goes. And then the fan base gets forced into a brutal question. Do you accelerate the timeline now by bringing in a proven alpha? Or do you keep building slowly through the draft and development? Because if you add a weapon like that, it sends a clear message. The window is now. And that changes Maye's world. Young quarterbacks grow differently when they have a target who can erase mistakes and win even when the play breaks down. Growth gets faster. Confidence gets louder. But the pressure to win right away? That gets louder too. There's also a domino effect people don't talk about enough. If you bring in a receiver of that caliber, everyone else's role snaps into place. Young guys stop being saviors and become complements. The playbook opens up. The run game breathes because defenses can't load the box with the same courage. That's not hype. That's how offenses jump levels. Now, nothing is guaranteed here. It's still talk. Philadelphia didn't promise anything. They just didn't slam the door. And sometimes, in the NFL, that's all you need to start a conversation that turns into an avalanche. The question is whether New England makes the call and pushes, or watches someone else jump in first. Because as that possibility hangs in the air, we got another moment that feels simple on the surface, but it's loaded underneath. This is the contradiction nobody wants to say out loud. Publicly, Elliott Wolf was blunt. The Rasheed Walker rumor is false, not true, end of it. But here's the thing. In this league, denials can also be strategy. Sometimes it protects a player, sometimes it protects a negotiation, and sometimes it protects a plan that isn't ready to be public yet. Let's keep it honest. If the Patriots truly believed left tackle was 100% solved, this wouldn't even be a conversation people are trying to float. Walker is 26. He's played meaningful snaps at a premium position, and he's shown he can live at the blind side. He's not a project. He's not a mystery. So when Wolf shuts it down, you have to ask the uncomfortable question. Is that pure confidence in Campbell? Or is it simply the Patriots refusing to broadcast any doubt? And there's another layer that makes the whole rumor feel weird in the first place. Walker is under contract in Green Bay. So even from a basic logic standpoint, the idea of him hitting the market, the way people were talking about, never really added up. That doesn't mean tackles can't become available in creative ways. This is the NFL. But it does explain why the Patriots would swat it away immediately. Now, I'm going to say something a lot of fans don't love hearing. Supporting development and avoiding competition are two completely different things. Vrabel said after the Super Bowl that Campbell is the left tackle. I get why. You don't burn a top pick after one season. You don't crush a 22-year-old's confidence in front of the world. But does that stop you from hunting for upgrades or adding someone who can push him? No, it shouldn't. Championship organizations don't fear discomfort. They create it. They force growth. If Campbell is the guy, he'll prove it by winning whatever competition shows up. And if he isn't, would you rather learn that in March or after another playoff run ends with your quarterback getting hit over and over? And it all ties back to what Wolf basically admitted without needing to spell it out. Tackle is a need. Morgan Moses is 35. Vidarian Lowe is a free agent. Thayer Munford is a free agent. So even if Campbell stays at left tackle, the position group as a whole is still being rebuilt. And when you pair that with the idea of Wilson potentially moving to center, you're staring at a line that's still being shaped, not finalized. Sometimes, the biggest show of belief in a young player is not shielding him from competition. It's putting him in the fire, because that's when you find out if he's just promise or he's foundation. And while that trench battle simmers, there's another decision happening behind closed doors that could impact not just protection for Maye, but every weapon he has to work with. Now let's talk about the bet that can flip the entire board, because it has a name, a number, and a cap impact you can't ignore. Stefon Diggs. You don't carry a $26.5 million cap hit at wide receiver unless you're fully comfortable with what that player represents on the field and in the building. And that's where this gets delicate. It's not just football, it's context, it's risk, it's the future. On the field, there's no argument. Diggs produced. 99 catches, 1,123 yards, 5 touchdowns, and more than anything, he became the gotta-have-it guy on third down. You saw it. When the play got messy and Maye needed a real answer, that's where the ball wanted to go. That kind of quarterback-receiver trust doesn't happen overnight. So why is there uncertainty? Because the money is real, because cap space is finite, and because his legal situation is still being monitored by the team. That's not me adding drama. That's literally what Wolf said. They're watching it and seeing how it develops. So now this becomes chess. If the Patriots keep Diggs, they keep proven production and a stabilizer for Maye's development. If they go the other direction, they create flexibility and open the door for a different kind of move, maybe even the blockbuster people keep dreaming about. You see how the pieces connect? This isn't 4 separate stories. It's one offseason with 4 pressure points. Here's my prediction based on how winning teams operate. If New England feels any uncertainty about what Diggs' situation means long-term, they won't wait for it to become a bigger issue. They'll act early. That's the DNA. Anticipate, control, don't react late. And none of that is about liking or disliking the player. It's about building a roster that can survive a full season and still be dangerous in January. But there's a human side too. When you remove a productive veteran from a locker room, you send a message about accountability, about transition, about standards. That can spark growth, or it can create a void. And with a young quarterback still building his identity, you have to be careful what kind of void you create. So let me ask you this, Patriots Nation, and don't dodge it. Do you value the stability you already have? Or would you take the risk to build something even bigger? Now tie it all together for a second, because this is the wild part. Every single one of these decisions points back to one mission: protecting and accelerating Drake Maye. Backing Campbell, considering Wilson's position, weighing Diggs, and even entertaining the idea of A.J. Brown. It's all the same chessboard. If you get it right, you're laying the foundation for the next era in Foxborough. If you get it wrong, you're burning time on the clock of your franchise QB. So I'm putting it on you. Would you go patient, or would you make the aggressive move right now? Drop your take in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed, because we're not done having this fight.